everybody, welcome back to Gulfside Baitworks. Today we're going to be playing with the big-eyed fathead mold that was designed by Bait and Tackle over here on YouTube. Definitely check out his page, he's got a lot of great stuff. So we're going to do this in two different color styles. The color isn't going to be the big focus today. The pouring is, because I actually have two different ways I pour this, so we're going to check that out. Yeah, so this will be our third video. I'm definitely not wearing the same clothes because I'm taping this directly after taping the second video. Anyway, so we're going to get that going. Today I'm going to be pouring everything in BP 242, which is what Joe over at Bait and Tackle suggested to use for this mold. You know, if you're a DOP guy, which I'm also a DOP guy, I have 3 5-gallon buckets of DOP sitting right behind where the camera is. It's probably close to swim bait blend. Craw tube was too hard. You just don't get a lot of action out of the tail with craw tube. So if you want to use if you want to use BP 242, I think swim bait blend would probably be the way to go for using dead-on plastics. So I'm going to get these warmed up. Our first way we're going to do it is going to be our traditional way: pour a layer, hit it with the heat gun, pour a layer, hit it with the heat gun. The second way gives us a little more blending by pouring them both hot at about the same temperature, one right after the other. We get kind of a mix in the middle, so you almost end up with a bloodline area without actually pouring a third layer. So first one is going to be a pretty cool color that I've kind of developed here, with the top being based around Lureworks white and black glitter. I found when you mix the two, you get kind of a cool marble color, so it's going to be like a marble shed. Bloodline is going to be with Lureworks blue highlights, and the bottom is just going to be with some holographic silver glitter. So we'll get that going, and or we'll get everything heating up, and I'll see you guys back in a couple minutes. All right, we're back. First off, we got our belly color here, and it's just going to be some Lureworks poly glitter in the silver holographic. You know, so since we're only doing flake and nothing else in the belly, we can definitely not be shy putting it in there. So that's a 2/4, so a half teaspoon in a cup of Plastisol, which is pretty aggressive. But you know, this is going to be our belly. It doesn't have anything else in it, so it's okay if we're a little aggressive with our color. And this is in the 0.008. So as you'll see, it's not something that you have just tons and tons of color in. Or sorry, you know, you don't really see so much of the individual flakes like you do when you're looking at a bigger flake. So it works really well for this, you know, but when you put it in things with where you've got a lot of colors, it kind of takes over, you know, so you got to watch out for that. Now, let's bring this up here, see how we look. All right, so when we pour this, I'm going to start pouring from the front, and we want to pour just above the hook slot. You know, I don't want to leave the hook slot out and uncovered, so we want to do just above the hook slot on that. All right, same for our second one. All right, so just above being covered on the hook slot. So now set these over to the side and let them sit. We want to let those warm up to a point that they start to solidify on the top. And let's check this out and see what we got here. Yeah, we're good. All right, so now for our second layer for our bloodline, we're using blue highlights. So we're going to be using quite a bit less on this one, with your highlights. It's one of those less is more kind of things. You can't go too crazy with it. I also have some BP black to set it off with. So right now I got a 132. I think I'm actually going to put 2 of these in there, so I think that makes a 16th. And in a cup of plastic, that actually is a fairly good amount of it. So I guess we're not being too conservative on it, but we are going ahead and putting that in there. All right, and we'll put a drop of black to set it all off. Oh, we ended up with 2 drops. Such is life. We're doing 2 drops of black. That's okay, because our top is going to be fairly dark, so it's okay if our bloodline is kind of dark too. Mix this up good. It's a powder, so of course your powders need a good mix to them, or they don't want to work properly. They want to clump up on you, which is no good. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants clumpy plastisol or clumpy powder in their plastisol. So not too bad. I'm gonna give it a little bump in the microwave here. Bring these bad boys back over while we're waiting for that. Put the top on this and get it out of the way, and we're just about ready to pour the next layer. And this is where our heat gun is going to come in. All right. So you see these, they're hard, they're a little tanky, but they have solidified. So our heat gun, we're going to go over that layer and soften it up a bit to a point that it starts to get liquidy. So that's going to give us our bond between the 2 layers. So what you'll see is as you're doing this, you're going back and forth, you'll start to see the plastisol start to move. And now we're getting it moving on the first level. And now it's nice and soft and moving. Set this bad boy out of the way. And we'll go ahead and pour our bloodline. We don't want to go crazy with this one. It's just a bloodline. It's not a main color. So we're just pouring a little bit of it. Now, second mold, same thing. All right. And while I'm doing this, I'll say, thank you to anyone who watched the first video all the way to the end and saw that I had these molds. I appreciate that. And hopefully you'll watch all my videos to the end now. But I did do a little bonus at the end of the first video, and here we go. See how it's moving around on us? Put that out of the way. Got to be careful with that heat gun. It's hot on the tip. Now just add a little bit here to give us our bloodline. Yet again, not going crazy with it. Alright, put that out of the way. Now, let's check my other cup of glass salt here. Should be hot because I kept it in the microwave. Alright, and we are, yeah, we're good to go. 311 is fine for mixing up our color. So, now, time for the main event for this color. Make sure we get that cleaned out. Alright, so we're using Lure-Works White Hex 040 and 015. And we are not going to be shy with these because this is the main coloring for what we're doing. We're not putting any kind of pigment in there. It's just going to be flake. So we got two, let's make it 4 of these, and we'll do 2 of each of the other, because I've only got two sizes of white, but I've got 4 sizes of black with me. I've actually got every size of black that Lure-Works makes, but these are the ones I brought out for today. So we got that. Let's get that cleaned off. And now we got the .015. I will warn you about this .015 in white. As soon as you open this bad boy up, it is on everything within a square mile of where you opened it. I find it everywhere. It just seems to like to connect to stuff, so it's a very cool color, but you do have that happen with it. See, it's already all over the glove. Alright, got that one out. Next we got black in the 062, so this is the big boy. So you end up with a lot less of this per scoop because it's so much bigger. So 2 scoops of that one, and that makes for half a teaspoon. Now we got the .50 hex. This is actually, I believe, the newest of their black colors. So we'll throw a couple of those in there. Next we have the .015 hex. So this is considered your small flake, though they do make that smaller .08 as well. But I don't think most people use that because it honestly really does take over whatever you're doing with it. And this one is the .40, so that's our medium flake. 2 of those. So now then, we will mix this up a bit. As you'll see, it's turning into a gray marbly color, which is really cool. It's a really cool effect. I know you could do this with anything, but I think using the white really gives it a nice effect. You can see there that marbly effect that you get with it. Let's check the temp. Alright, we're going to bump this up while we get everything ready for pouring. So, pull this guy over, clean the top off a bit. That's what we got so far. Alright, that's going. Got our heat gun out. And I'll start at the top of this. And we're going to keep heating it up till we start seeing that glass of salt on the top moving around. See how it's moving around on me. See, glass salt on the top's nice and liquidy. full color layer, at least on the first one. All right. And you know, you don't want to go crazy, pour this super fast or anything. You got to take your time. It is a big mold, so you got a nice big area on the top here to fill. And I find that letting the tail fill like this works real well. Not, you know, letting it fill from the middle here and then going back slowly. Seems to work really well. Alright. So there's our first one done. Now we'll heat up the second one. Starting to get that plastisol moving around on there. So nice and hot. Get that heat gun out of the way, and we're going to start pouring. You know, and same thing, nice and slow. Take your time. Let the plastisol do the work filling in. You know, and I also find too that as I let it pour from the front and fill in the back, it'll draw a little bit of the color from the bloodline with it, and then you kind of get a laminate all the way into the tail. So here we go, pouring it back, letting that tail fill. Poured a little bit on the tail and the top, over poured the second one. That's okay, not a big deal. You can pick that off when it's time to pull these out. So gotta let these cool, and we'll start getting ready to show you the other way I like pouring these. So we'll be back. All right, so we are ready to do our second pour, or at least get our colors ready for our second pour. You know, for this second pour, we're going to do something that's along the lines of Sexy Penny. It's not quite perfect. And one thing I do like about the penny style colors is pretty much wherever you go, they every company does them different. So you're totally fine kind of really customizing it. It's a great color. Alright, so we got 15 drops of chartreuse. I'm using DOP chartreuse on this one. I like using DOP chartreuse anytime I'm doing a laminate color because it doesn't bleed. If I'm doing just chartreuse, I do like the Lureworks chartreuse dye. It's a great color for doing just chartreuse by itself because of how clear it is. So that's all that's going to be in the bottom. Pretty simple. Now our top's going to be a little more complex. We're going to be using Lureworks Copper Pearl as our base. I'm going to put a little bit of Lureworks Blood Red in there. And I've got 4 different sizes of copper flake. So we're going to start out with an 1/8 teaspoon of Copper Pearl. We are using 1.5 cups of plastic on each of these, by the way. You know, and with this, I just kind of want to put basically an even spoonful. I don't want to really go crazy with it. Set that down. Now, go ahead, and I usually find that about 5 drops of this gets me to where I want with these two. Yeah, now if you were going to make, you know, a true penny color, new penny, sexy penny, whichever one you want to do, you would add more than just copper flake. You know, you might want to do some silvers, some blacks, flakes added to it. But just kind of going with a simple one today, because this is more about showing that style of pouring than the color itself. But I do love this color. If you want to see some of the things I've done with this colorway, you can check out the Instagram page and see what all I've done with that, because I catch a lot of fish with this color here in the saltwater, because I am in clear water, in fact, and this is the 0.04 hex copper. Yeah, in fact, after I get done making videos today, I'm going out to the beach. I'm gonna do a little fishing, so that's gonna be fun. See if we can catch anything. These won't be ready for today though, unfortunately. Something I found with the 242 with this bait, you really gotta let them cure. Now we got, this is 0.008 hex. You really gotta let them cure. A lot of baits I make, I will just straight up take them out fishing right after they come out of the molds. No problems. This bait, because it's so fat, does need to cure properly, or it will come apart on you. I learned that when I first got the mold. So that's something you want to keep in mind as well, is that you do want to make sure you're letting these big boys harden all the way, because if you don't, it doesn't work. They come apart. All right, so there we go, nice and shiny, kind of a reddish and a coppery color. See what we're looking at on temps here. That one's pretty cool. This one's real cool, yeah. Alright, both of these are just over 300, which is definitely not warm enough to pour. So I'm going to throw them in the microwave, and then we will get them poured. Last set of pours for the day. So what we're going to do with these, we're going to pour them in there just like we did for the other one. We're going to fill this thing up all the way just above the hook slot, but we're not going to let it cool. I'm just going to go ahead and pour the next one right on in. You know, and what I find when I do this is I get a cool mixing between the two. You know, I like to call this the hot pour. I don't know if there's a name for it. It's probably amateur hour or something like that. But I really like the style that I get. It gives me like a the way it draws the belly color all the way back to the tail. It looks really cool, and I found this style, this way of pouring really only works in silicone molds. I've tried this in aluminum molds, and it just didn't work. They cool too fast, I think. You know, so this one is silicone style pour, I guess. You know, but I think I get really cool baits with this way of pouring. You know, so I like making them this way. Maybe it's not the most advanced way of pouring. Seems kind of simple, maybe even, but I like the way they mix together. So yeah, we'll let these cool, and then I'll come back with both sets of pours and we can talk about it. And yeah, here we go. All right, so let them cool for a little bit, and we've got them out. So let's check out our two different color styles here. First off, we got our first style pour where we did 3 different layers. let them harden, and then just heated the top between, and that gives us this nice straight, fairly straight lines here. I do really like the way these this marbled look goes. We call this one marbled shad, I guess. And we got that blue highlight in there, and I probably could have gone without the black, but I think it looks pretty good. Now, the other way we have here is the pouring them while they were both hot. And you see with this, I end up with a real broken up line between, and it drew the bottom as I poured the top, so it ends up laminating all the way down and giving us a nice little mix there. Depending on the thickness of your color, sometimes you'll even get the two mixed together and end up with a third color in the middle. Both of these pouring ways end up coming out really cool. End up coming out with some really cool colors, or a really cool style. It really just comes down to what you like better, how you like doing it. Do you like straighter lines, or do you like the less straight lines? But both of them come out good. Both of them are pretty nice. So those are our baits that we made today. These are the big-eyed fatheads from Bait and Tackle. I thank you for watching, especially if you made it to the end. I actually took the leftovers from pouring these, or at least from pouring these, and shot some laminates. So if you want to check those out, you can see those on the Instagram page. Gulfside Bait Works should be linked on the video. If not, it's definitely linked on the channel. And yeah, like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. This was our third video, so we're still learning. And any kind of feedback you can give me, I would really appreciate. So comment if you have any. So yeah, these are our big-eyed fatheads. I think they came out pretty cool. I really like this mold. Again, this mold is from Joe at Bait and Tackle. He makes these molds. So yeah, here they are. Definitely give him a shout if you want to get one. I know he has another mold that should be coming out soon. I believe it's called the Tombstone Tail Shad, possibly. I know he's got that coming out soon, so hopefully once he has that out, I'll be able to get one of those and we can pour some of those as well. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a great day.